This is Atomic Shinobi, and today I'm going to narrate second part of what if Naruto was banished by Minato and became emperor. If you enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no time, let's start the story.
Demon Country. Somewhere in the west, Naruto protested, shouting, "I still say that this is a very bad idea." Merlin answered, "Stop crying about it, Naruto." He angrily pointed at Merlin and said, "All the demons we ran into attack me. You stood there and watch. Hey, I got you a new outfit at least. I could have left you in that damage armor, but I'm kind enough to get you something new. Plus, it matches your girlfriend's armor." She responded by clapping. They were continuously attacked by demons of all kinds while conducting the search in demon territory. Their attacks were unrelenting. Naruto's old knight's armor deteriorated and was no longer sufficient to keep him safe. Merlin created a blue suit and armor for him. The armor of Arturia has a similar design. An. Gawaine's armor, Fate, Extra Saber. Fine. I'll stop bitching about it. Where is this guy? Ah. Meliodas. His name is Meliodas and he is someone you shouldn't underestimate. He was personally chosen to lead the 10 Commandments and he's the eldest son of the Demon King. Merlin responded. Fearfully, he questioned, "Why are we looking for a guy like that?" The sin of wrath is the most prominent of the 7 deadly sins. Because things have changed. Since the Demon King's death, he hasn't been the same. He started to change. Recently he left the 10 Commandments. He has leadership skill and great power. A good potential for the sin of wrath. Naruto repeated, "Okay, but how do we find him?" "Why not look behind you?" said an unidentified voice. Naruto turned around and drew Excalibur right away. Merlin remained calm and unconcerned. Instead of turning around quickly, she did so slowly. Only to discover a kid with emerald green eyes and untidy blonde hair. Naruto put Excalibur away and said, "Who are you, kid?" Not considering a child to be a danger. Excalibur hasn't mentioned him aside from that. If there was danger nearby, as with the previous attacks, she would alert him. The blonde kid said, "Who am I? Who are you?" He gestured to Merlin and said, "Oh, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Naruto. This is Merlin." When the child appeared, she didn't appear surprised. The child repeated, "Oh, I know Merlin. I was wondering, who are you?" He repeated to the child, "I already told you, I'm Naruto." He won't get it. Just introduce yourself before night times comes. Merlin replied, obtaining a perplexed expression from Naruto. "Okay then." Merlin was answered by the child. Meliodas grinned and said, "I'm Meliodas, former leader of the 10 Commandments. Nice to meet you." Naruto was surprised. After Naruto was shocked for a few minutes, he deadpanned, "I thought you would have been older." Meliodas shot back, "Rude. I'm over 3,000 years old," causing Naruto to pass out from the startling discovery. After he finished jabbing Naruto with a stick, Meliodas said to Merlin, he fainted. "Are you going to tell me who he really is, Merlin?" With a cunning grin, Merlin declared, "He is the one to pull the sword out of the sword." He pointed out that the sword he was carrying wasn't Caliburn. It's true, Lord Meliodas. Caliburn was given to Master's lover. She dreamt of pulling Caliburn as a child. When Master received me from Lady Vivian, he had no need of carrying 2 holy swords. My name is Excalibur, the sword of promise victory, and my companion that protects me and Master as my sheath is Avalon," replied Excalibur. The high sign of Avalon simply began to glow. "Oh, then that's okay. Why are you looking for me, Merlin?" "I want to recruit you to the 7 deadly sins." "Why should I join?" "Naruto wants to unite the land. Uniting all races and find peace with everyone. I want his dream to come true, but he can't do it alone. He will need all the help he can get. He is too young and inexperienced in the West." He came from over the wall in the East, shocking Meliodas. This is the first time that anything from the East has been reported. He didn't like how life was there and decided to come here. Even though he'd been here for more than 3 years, he made some friends. Several human friends, including his lover and a ghoul. With the ghoul, he even offered her to take a bite off him to survive, which she rejected his offer, further surprising him. Humans frequently killed ghouls immediately in order to prevent them from being eaten. It's risky to give a ghoul a piece of yourself. Instead of taking a bite, a ghoul might eat him because they can't resist the taste. The kid seems like he would make a good leader, but he needs work. I'm hoping you would teach him a thing or two and help rebuild the 7 deadly sins, Merlin concludes. Meliodas stated, "Let me test him first. Then we will see." Naruto certainly piqued his interest. The majority of people would never consider doing half of what he did. Naruto's face was splashed with water when Merlin snapped her fingers. He yelled, "Ah!" from the frigid water, pulled out Excalibur, and started swinging it foolishly. Then he turned to face the two individuals who were ogling him. Naruto pointed Excalibur at Meliodas and yelled, "Ahem. What do you mean that you're over 3,000 years old?" He blocks it with Excalibur as Meliodas rushes in with a punch to the face, causing Naruto to fall back a few feet. What the hell? Merlin told Naruto, "Just fight him. This is a test for you." Meliodas attempted to punch him in the stomach again, but this time it was successful, knocking him down. As he called forth a number of weapons from the gate of Babylon, Naruto yelled, "Fine. If you want to test me like that, then I will return the favor." At Meliodas, he launches them all. Meliodas drew Lost Vein, his sword. He blocks them all with ease. Naruto then charges at him while continuing to call forth noble phantasms and shoots them behind him, saying, "So wasteful." To avoid hitting himself, he carefully aims them. Meliodas used Naruto as a shield against his gate and ended up in a deadlock with him, saying, "That's better, but you could do better." With a flurry of slashes, Meliodas effortlessly overwhelms Naruto and pushes him back. Only half of the attacks are successfully blocked by Naruto. Good. You block all those that would have left a fatal wound. You have good battle instinct. However, is this all you can do? Naruto jumps back. Naruto creates 7 clones, saying, "Of course not. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Since Excalibur cannot be duplicated, each clone calls forth a noble phantasm from the gate." Meliodas made 7 clones of himself and said, "Neat. I can do the same." The distinction is that Lost Vein, his sword, was also imitated. Unlike Naruto, who uses ninjutsu to create clones, Meliodas was able to create physical copies of himself thanks to Lost Vein. As the real ones attack one another, all the clones charge at one another. Meliodas' clones prevailed in the brief battle royal. Naruto exclaimed, "Damn it, it's not over yet," as he withdrew Durandal from the gate and concentrated its and Excalibur's holy energy into an X shape. Between the two swords, a luminous orb began to take shape. Meliodas remarked, "Wolf whistle. That looks like it can do some damage." He smirked and remarked, "But it won't be enough to beat me." With a holy flash bang, Naruto released the orb of holy energy and aimed the swords at Meliodas. The tailed beast bomb by Kurama served as the inspiration for the technique. Energy that is concentrated and built up in one place, then letting go to crash into the target and detonate in a violent explosion. Rather than using prana or chakra, Naruto used holy energy. He could use either of those energy sources, but Naruto finds it much easier to use holy energy, which is special in its own way, given that he is the one selected by God herself and possesses numerous holy swords. Full counter. Meliodas lunged his sword just in time to strike the orb and send it flying. Shit. As he closed his eyes to launch his own assault, Naruto pondered. Then nothing struck him. Opening his eyes, Naruto saw Merlin launch a strong barrier in front of him to stop the assault. After the barrier was taken down, Meliodas walked to him and said, "You did pretty well for a kid." Naruto just looked sheepish and rubbed the back of his head, laughing weakly. "The last attack looked very dangerous and could have killed me considering I am a demon." Then Meliodas looks at Merlin. "Okay, I will join the sins. I will also give the kid a lesson of 2. Naruto questions him. "A lesson? You're a good kid, but not good enough. You make a decent soldier, but a leader is something that you will need to learn. Who's better to train you in leadership than the one that was said to be the next demon king?" Meliodas replied with a smirk. After considering it for a while, "Fine. Deal, but what's up with the 180? I heard that you were once a merciless killer and greatly respected by all demons and other races. What happened to you?" Naruto asked once more. He gained a great deal of knowledge about the key figures in the West during his time there. Meliodas was characterized as a vicious murderer. He hated other races and would not be at all lenient toward anyone he raced. With his typical upbeat tone, Meliodas remarked, "Oh, things happen." Naruto reasoned that he should be content with his current state and would prefer not to discuss it. Meliodas joined the 7 deadly sins in Naruto's mission to bring the entire West continent together almost a year ago. He teaches Naruto how to wield a sword throughout the year. He was greatly disappointed. He desired to pick up some cool skills. As the once and future king, Naruto was unaware of the full extent of his power. Naruto only used a small number of the Gate of Babylon's weapons and some of the more potent techniques he had learned at a time. He was a formidable foe just for that, but it wasn't enough. He received some instruction from Meliodas on how to make better use of his gate in battle. Naruto began to employ the gate in more inventive ways. Following the lessons, the group continues to look for 7 deadly sins members throughout the entire West. Only the boar's sin of gluttony, Merlin, the lion's sin of pride, Escanor, and the dragon's sin of wrath, Meliodas were present at the beginning of the adventure. Despite having committed 3 of the 7 sins, Merlin was adamant about bringing the group back to life. They learned that an immortal was prowling the countryside during one of their travels. Intrigued, Meliodas set out to track down this individual on his own. A few weeks later, he returned with Ban. Similar to Fox's sin of greed, Ban or undead Ban. Ban became best friends with Meliodas after joining the group. Naruto made the decision to temporarily split up a few months later. Naruto desired to learn how to use his new ability, Divine Dividing, on his own. Naruto is awestruck by the futuristic, looking white and blue wings. In addition to being able to fly, he could cut his opponent's power in half every 10 seconds. Albion claims that training in the wings would enable him to access a power that is far more powerful than the wings themselves. Naruto made the decision to go to the supposedly serene fairies' forest. He reasoned that since no one would be trying to stab him in the back, it would be the ideal location for training. Sadly, he encountered difficulties there. In the forest of the fairies, he stumbles upon a battlefield. A couple of dozen devils and a few demons were engaged in combat. The peaceful fairy race, or the survivors, were caught up in their battle. The forest had already been attacked and many fairies had perished before the conflict between the devils and the demons. Only a few dozen people chose to rebuild their home after surviving the attack. When the last attack destroyed their home, the fairies had no one to defend them. For the first time, the peace-loving fairies had to battle against creatures that wanted to destroy them alone, and the outcome was obvious. They were fortunate in the subsequent attack. Naruto had to kill them after failing to stop the demons and devils from fighting. For a few minutes, he was able to accomplish what he had been training for during the brief 3-way battle. He created what Albion called the Vanishing Dragon Balance Breaker because he was determined to save the dying race of fairies. Scale Mail Armor is the balance breaker. It offered more physical prowess, the ability to use the dividing abilities more quickly, and the same protection as a dragon scale. He was able to save a significant number of fairies after eliminating the dozen devils and all the strong demons, several dozen, roughly. They can erect a barrier to keep everyone out because Naruto promised to stay and watch over them for a while. By altering the barrier, Naruto contributed to its creation and ensured that people with negative emotions would be excluded. He picked it up from Rin's barriers and Kurama's ability to sense emotion. Only those who wouldn't hurt them could pass through the new barrier. Byako also contributed to the design of the barrier itself. Even though he is not very knowledgeable about magic, he was able to tell that the forest had an endless supply of natural energy when he met Naruto there. Because of the supply, he was envious of this location. He and Naruto collaborated to adjust the barrier so that it would absorb natural energy and become stronger indefinitely. The protector made the decision to go back after a few more weeks of training in the forest, only to be heartbroken by the way his house was demolished while he was away. King or Harlequin, their protector, is no longer recognized by the fairies as their leader. His fellow fairies did not welcome him. King would always look out for the other fairies, even if they made fun of him. He chose to pay Naruto back. King began teaching Naruto how to fight while flying because he needed assistance with flying combat. He departed prepared for aerial combat at the conclusion of his training period. Even though he was unable to use the balance breaker, he was still able to learn how to use his divine dividing wings for combat. King followed Naruto because he felt bad about what had happened to his sister and people when he left. He would later appear in Grizzly's Sin of Sloth. King, one of the 7 deadly sins. Meliodas stumbles upon a new member that his friends managed to recruit during their reunion. Diane, also known as Serpent's Sin of Envy, is a lady giant. The 7 deadly sins began making their own way across the whole West. They had to be aware of what they were going up against. Meliodas and Ban were the only ones who accompanied Naruto on his journey back to human land. Escanor found the final sin by following Merlin. Like they had done in the past, King and Diane set out to travel the world and assist where they could. King was searching for someone when he vanished from the fairy forest. He encountered Diane while on his hunt after losing his memory. For several hundred years, the two remained together. 100 years didn't seem like much to giants and fairies, who by nature live long lives. When he returned to the forest after regaining his memory, he discovered Naruto. After a month of waiting, Diane left when she realized her friend had not arrived. She met Meliodas at that point. Meliodas, Ban, and Naruto set out for the Tasaka estate to visit his old pals and begin their wild scheme. They had an exciting time together with the girls. Ryu and Fa had been studying magecraft. 1. Fa made the decision to study more about elemental magic and flying magic. Fa didn't want Chomei to be imprisoned again after her removal, but she missed having wings to fly. She used Era 2 magic to grow wings so she could fly once more. She learns another set of magic after realizing that she wants to support Naruto in his quest to bring the West together. She gains knowledge of water and lightning magic, utilizing water magic for long range or close quarters combat and lightning from the sky to cast a long range lightning spell at the adversary. In order to use ninjutsu to perform water style jutsu in remembrance of her home, she wanted to learn how to create water with magic. Ryu, also known as Ria Zetsu, aspired to be a spy hybrid. She became proficient in the reflector spell. The user can conceal their body by altering the light surrounding them, essentially disappearing from view in a bluish flash before turning invisible. She would be an efficient spy and scout in this manner. Rin and Arturia merely honed their abilities. Attack spells were not a concern for her because of her high magic resistance. She learns a magic trick that complements her swordplay. By instantly releasing the magical energy to reinforce herself, Mana temporarily injects an arbitrary vector into her weapon and body, accumulating magical energy that gives her an extraordinary boost in abilities. She can increase her movements in close combat with what can be described as a jet blast of magical energy, and only her immense magical power allows her to execute large-scale body reinforcement through Mana Burst. Compared to the others who received D-Drake's magic circuits, she possesses a vast array of magical abilities. Rin hypothesizes that Caliburn's presence was the cause of the increase. She didn't want to learn any other spells, despite the fact that her magical power is superior to that of the other girls, including Rin, who isn't jealous. She still desired to be based on a knight rather than a magus. To check if anyone was home, Naruto sang, "Hello," from the Tasaka's estate door. Naruto. 2 girls exclaimed. Fa and Arturia were there. Arturia kissed him deeply and for a long time. Meliodas and Ban merely whistled at her. He exclaimed joyfully, "Arturia! Fa, it's great to see you too," and approached Fa to embrace her. "Where are the others?" Chomei and Kurama left off somewhere. They wanted to visit some place a few months ago. They wanted to see how much has changed. They haven't returned yet, F responded. "They deserve this break. They have been gone from their home for far too long," said Naruto. Arturia informed him, Rin and Ryu left to get supplies. "Supplies?" asks Naruto. "Mainly herbs and other medical or poison ingredient. I didn't like the idea of poison, but Rin made a point that some poisonous ingredient could act as a cure to poison and are used for many potions. They won't be back till the end of this month." "Damn," said Ban. "We can't wait that long for them." Meliodas remarked, "We can do it with the 5 of us." "Ah, excuse me. Who are you two and what do you mean?" replied F. "If we strike Camelot in a few days, we would be able to take out that bastard, Nobunaga. We can take control of their entire human territory." Ban clarified their strategy. They find out that Camelot would be under guard because of the tax collection while traveling back. Normally, it would happen at random times, but they would be aware of when Nobunaga intends to collect taxes from the whole region. Every human being's money and supplies are forcibly taken away by these tax collectors, even to the town where the other race does not provide him with protection. "If we do this, how do we know that everyone won't turn on us?" asked Arturia. She was aware that eliminating Nobunaga was a smart move. Meliodas tossed a piece of paper with multiple names on it and said, "Simple. This." Fa and Arturia examined the note. "Those are the names of people that support Nobunaga and their pockets are being filled up. If we take out Nobunaga and those people out, we would be able to get the most of the army and all the humans on our side. A lot of people don't like either of them. Several corrupt officers would need to be taken out or change them. With all of that done, we have an army and a base of operation. That still leave one problem. Who will kill Nobunaga? I heard he isn't someone that shouldn't be underestimated," F replied. Arturia broke off, saying, "It should be the strongest out of us all. Sir Meliodas should." He exclaimed, "No, I will take him." The girls gave him a worried look, but Meliodas simply grinned at him. He understands what leadership requires. The best way to influence people is to lead by example, Meliodas believed. Some Western leaders have generals in charge of their armies, but they only sit on the throne and make choices. Someone else will take their place because those leaders are rarely respected and are often killed. N. Naruto. It's too dangerous, Arturia and Fa attempted to object. For many years, Nobunaga was able to lead and fight humans, the weakest race in the West, against all other races, and they had no doubts about his abilities. His authority and leadership are demonstrated by that alone. People dislike his ruling, that's all. No, it'd have to be me. If I'm to unite the West, I can't hide behind others while they fight for me. They won't acknowledge me and will doubt me if I let others fight my battle. This isn't a fight for humanity. It's a test for me. It's to see if I'm worthy of being the once and future king. You remember my fight with Diedrich. He didn't listen to me because he didn't think I was worthy as the king. Others would think the same, and only a few like Albion would acknowledge my rule based solely on Caliburn. I won't accept that. My fight to rule will be the blood and sweat on the battlefield will be a sign as my right to rule. Explain. Okay. Arturia said grudgingly. I'll let you fight him alone. Good. Now, Fa and Ban would take out the targets. Their skills are more suitable for assassinations. Meliodas and Arturia will grab the attention of all the guards and keep the focus on you two. Try to kill as few as possible. Those soldiers have family to go home to. Giving him a nod, Meliodas took pride in his scheme. The goal was to eliminate all corruption and threats to the area while causing the least amount of harm possible. It demonstrated that his goal is to save and bring people together, not to kill. Instead of seeing it as another human power struggle, I hope the other race would see it that way. Naruto explains his strategy. I will take out Nobunaga. Right, exclaimed the four of them, in recognition of Naruto's scheme. Good. The operation starts in 4 days at dawn. Rest up and be prepared. After 4 days, after departing the Tasaka estate, everyone traveled to Camelot, the human territory's capital. The plan was straightforward. Fa and Ban would remove corrupt politicians and Nobunaga supporters from the list. By doing this, the corruption that permeates every human territory will be eradicated. Naruto immediately enters the castle and defeats Nobunaga. That is problematic because Nobunaga wields a formidable sword known as the me.no.murakumo.no. Tsurugi, or Kusanagi as Naruto calls it. This is not to be confused with Orochimaru's Kusanagi blade. The snake summon is what makes Orochimaru's Kusanagi blade. It is simply a very strong blade covered in the Snake Clan's unique poison. The Snake Clan's sword was modeled after the original Kusanagi, which was found in the corpse of Yamada.no. Orochi, a formidable serpent. According to legend, the original Kusanagi was able to control all snakes and serpents. It is also very capable of challenging a lot of people. 3. When Nobunaga displayed his sword wielding prowess, many people didn't question how he got it. Both Arturia and Meliodas were excellent swordsmen. Keeping an eye on them, the two should be able to repel most of the town's guards. In particular, Nobunaga. All of the Western powerhouses are familiar with Meliodas. It would be suicide to challenge him without 2 or 3 other powerhouses. There are only roughly 50 powerhouse players in the West, according to official statistics. However, it's uncertain because there isn't a suitable system in place to disseminate news. It was merely a matter of hearing rumors and experiencing them firsthand in combat. Naruto entered the castle stealthily by employing his shinobi training. He gets to Nobunaga's room and kills him as he watches, but he made a foolish move. Naruto yelled the word, Nobunaga, behind him. Seeing someone come so close to killing him astounded Nobunaga. He turned around and drew his blade. Naruto referred to him as, I here for a battle to the death, and aimed Excalibur at him. Instead of fighting like an assassin, he wished to fight like a warrior. With a drop of perspiration, Caliburn thought, Master is sometimes an idiot. I mean, he could have killed him right there and mission accomplished. Naruto requested that Arturia exchange blades prior to the fight. She was perplexed by the fact that, despite their similar functions, Excalibur was always the superior holy sword. In order to properly challenge him as a knight, warrior, and king, he told her about his strategy. When he first started out, he wanted to fight as the once and future king. He yelled, Who are you, boy? I'm Naruto, he exclaimed, lifting Caliburn straight up, his face and body parallel, showcasing Caliburn in all her beauty. I'm the one that pulled the sword out of the stone. I'm the once and future king, and all will unite the West. Once and future king. Ha 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 ha, he exclaims, laughing without control. The legendary sword, Caliburn, in the hands of a boy. I will kill you and take that sword for myself, he charges Naruto. Only to clash with him with blades. Impossible, he exclaimed. The aura of Caliburn was overwhelming his sword. He was pushed back by Naruto. He stepped out into the courtyard from his room. He bit his thumb and wiped blood on Kusanagi's side, saying, "I'll enjoy wielding that sword." It appears that the sword lives up to its legend. Kusanagi. Snake Belly. It appears that the Kusanagi develops a second blade. Snake Lance. He swung his blade, sending a destructive zigzag shockwave through the air. Although Naruto blocked it, the wide range attack it formed caused him to sustain some damage. Naruto spat out some blood and muttered, "Damn. That sword really lives up to its legend." Of course it does. It may not be as powerful as me, but its abilities are more useful compared to mine. Caliburn replied with sadness. Although she lacked technique, she was regarded as one of the strongest swords. To fire it at Nobunaga, Naruto conjured up a noble phantasm. This attack, though, was not like the others. As it flew out, he grabbed onto the handle, shooting himself quickly at Nobunaga. Ah! Naruto slashes at his chest in a hurry. Nobunaga's slash caused him to cough up a lot of blood. The speed is what caused Nobunaga to fail to react in time. Noble phantasms are fired by the gate at the speed of a bullet. It was much faster at the time than most non-teleportation speeds. Meliodas had to rely on his demon body and regeneration to fend off the speed, as even he was unable to do so. That fucking brat. How dare he treat me like this? He wiped the blood off his blade and bit his finger once more. With the command, Kusanagi. Snake form. The Kusanagi changes into a bigger blade with 4 more blades. The phrase, White Serpent, began as a ragged stream of energy similar to her snake lance method. As light, Naruto thought, that doesn't look good. He channels Caliburn's prana. He yelled, Banishing Shift, in an attempt to neutralize the attack. When the lights change into several snakes that encircle the target and bind him from head to toe, it fails. Shit. It's over, he exclaimed, giggling at his fate. The snakes burst into flames. One of the Kusanagi's most powerful techniques was this one. Numerous formidable opponents would be eliminated by the White Serpent. It was a risky move because it splits apart just before it makes contact and binds the opponent. Arturia remained outside the city's gate, battling alongside Meliodas against every soldier who was approaching them. She could only gaze at the smoke after hearing the explosion from the castle. Then she whispered, Naruto. She was concerned about him. She was not at all helped by the explosion. It only increased her anxiety. A girl with mint green hair thought the same thing somewhere in the sky. To draw her attention to the matter at hand, Meliodas said, Focus. I'm sure Naruto is okay. Have faith. He laughed, ha 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 ha. He observed the smoke starting to dissipate. As he started to approach Naruto's corpse, he exclaimed, The golden sword of Victorious is mine. A strong gust of wind blew the smoke away. To greatly surprise Nobunaga, a man in white armor was standing there. The armor appears to be a more sophisticated take on dragon scale armor. And Caliburn was still in his grasp. Balance breaker. Vanishing dragon, fearfully, he demanded, V. Vanishing dragon, as in Albion, the vanishing dragon. One of the heavenly dragon. The 2 celestial dragons were frequently referred to by the common names Welsh dragon and vanishing dragon. This is the power granted to me by my friend, Albion. The divine dividing. It allows me the ability to divide my opponent's power in half every 10 seconds. But in the balance breaker form, I'm able to use it as much as my body can handle, and I can handle a lot of power, said Naruto. Although he was a sole Jinchuriki, he was still a Jinchuriki. He still had a lot of power because he was an Uzumaki. One aspect of his Kushina Namikaze ancestry that he finds endearing. Impossible! Exclaimed Nobunaga in denial. Using as much prana as he could muster in the Kusanagi, he charged at Naruto. In mid-strike, Naruto simply grabbed the sword. Party, 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 all of the prana in the sword and in his magic circuit is absorbed by Naruto, leaving him helpless. After removing the sword from him, Naruto stabbed Caliburn in the stomach. He began to cough up a large amount of blood, too much blood. He leaned Naruto in his scale mail and muttered, So, this is how it ends. This is the end, Nobunaga. You may be a monster to many, but I hope you find peace in the next life, said Naruto. Forgiving a monster like me. Maybe you're the once and future king. Tell me, what is your full name? So I know who will lead my nation and unite the West, he inquired. Naruto responded, Naruto. Just Naruto. Answering a dying man's question was the right thing to do. Haha. Is his feeble laugh. Fish cake. removing Naruto's tick mark. After giving it some thought, I said, "No. Maelstrom. That fits you. But you need a proper legacy name." He laughed and said, "Pendragon. Naruto Pendragon. The man that wields the power of a dragon." Naruto set him aside. As he died, he began to laugh. A man should always smile when dying. It shows he has no regrets. You may have been a monster to your people, but you have a heart of a warrior. Rest in peace. Naruto said as he closed Nobunaga's eye. The conflict was over. The targets were killed. Slowly, order is returning. The other girls come back a few weeks later, only to discover that Camelot is where everyone else is. They are making every effort to bring the people together and restore order. It was surprisingly much simpler. Naruto waved both Caliburn and Kusanagi in the air as he emerged to confront the town's soldiers and civilians. He was welcomed by many there. Because he held the golden sword of Victorious and their ancient king's sword, he was a formidable warrior. Since many people rely on the legend for hope, many people were aware of it in its description. It's funny that when they put Excalibur on Caliburn, it was created with everyone's hope and wish. In time to see Naruto, Merlin returns. She was pleased with his accomplishments. The girls chastised him for his recklessness and for having such a crazy plan. Before Rin and Ryu returned, Naruto was hurt and left in bed. News of the once and future king's eventual arrival in the West has begun to circulate. Serving Naruto was not a problem for the majority of the army that supports Nobunaga. His action and his attempt to assist everyone, including people of other races, were reported to the people of the human territory. He was embraced by many as their new king. All of the 7 deadly sins were among the many people assembled at the castle at Camelot. This includes Goat's sin of lust. Gowther, the final member. It was the day that the fabled 7 deadly sins and their new king were to be resurrected. Following Merlin's lengthy speech about Naruto and the group, Merlin declares, "I present to you the once and future king, Naruto Pendragon," receiving a hearty round of applause for the king of blue armor. His family, friends, and lovers were standing behind him. Felix was also present. He drew the sword and held it high so that everyone could see its golden light. "I, Naruto Pendragon, am the one that pulled the golden sword of Victorious, Caliburn," he exclaimed. "I swear that I will unite the entire West. I desire peace. But not just peace for humans, but peace for angels, devils, ghouls, demons, fairies, humans, and all other race." Receiving a lot of cheers, "We shall unite this war-torn world. We will stand together as one and fight as one. I know that it will be difficult for you to find peace with the other race that once hunted you, but I have faith in you and them. We will find peace. We will find out happy ending. Every single one of us." Further applause erupted. Naruto is a powerful, kind, and peaceful man who inspired many. "I'll lead us to a golden age. No one shall stop me from uniting the land and finding peace for all," he said. Meliodas exclaimed, "Long live the king," after Naruto had concluded his remarks. Everyone began chanting, "Long live the king! Long live the king! Long live the king! Long live the king!" causing the young king to cry with happiness. A month later, Camelot, deep breath. Naruto arose from his sleep. He began to look around the room, only to discover that Rin and Arturia are equally nude as he is. Then he remembered what had happened the night before. A trio. Naruto thought, "I didn't see that coming. Those two pull me into bed after a night of drinking and partying." Naruto got out of bed in a stealthy manner and replaced himself with a clone for the girls to cuddle with. Hee. I thought the men were the perverts, not the women. Naruto was dressed in a red shirt and black pants. Then he left to fulfill his royal duties. 1 week has passed since Naruto was crowned king of all people. Everything has been going really well since he made his declaration. With minimal opposition, Naruto is able to take over all of humanity's territory. The once and future king seems to find it easier to get people to listen to him than he anticipated. Though there were still a few outlaws in his small kingdom, he was able to deal with them. All of the corrupted families that backed his predecessor were overthrown by Naruto. The Matu family is one such family. Humans are one of the most powerful magical families. They were notorious for their harsh and disapproved of methods. The next heir to the family was what truly caught Naruto's eye. Or heiress, if I may. Formerly known as Sakura to Sakura Matu. It was a challenging case for Naruto. The clan's refusal to acknowledge Naruto's authority was the first. He could have dealt with them now or left them alone, where they could cause a lot of trouble later. It was a difficult decision and one of the first ones he had to make as king. Although he was aware that not everyone was as malevolent as the current head, they were all strong and dangerous enough to eventually cause enough issues and fatalities. Naruto requests the family's complete dossier. Naruto chose to eliminate the rest of the family and start a rescue mission on them because there weren't enough good ones so far. It was successful all around. Sakura was among the few Matu who were spared. Naruto, Meliodas, and Merlin killed the majority of the family, including the rapist Shinji, the monster Zoken, and others. Sakura was now the issue. She had the damn crestworms in her and was essentially lifeless. Thankfully, Merlin was able to eradicate all of the crestworms within her. However, because of the trauma she had experienced, she still required therapy. Naruto has been visiting her and spending time with her over the past few weeks in an effort to help her rediscover her humanity. Because he wanted to care for Sakura himself, he would typically send his clone to handle his friends, family, or his responsibilities. In addition, her father had given her to the Matu family as Rin's sister. Sakura has undergone significant change in the last few weeks since Naruto first saw her. From a dead girl to a shy, kind girl, it's a lot of progress, but not much. She grew quite attached to Naruto and fell in love with him. Naruto referred to him as her shining knight. She told him that the pink ribbon in her hair was a present from Rin when they were still sisters. It gave her hope that her sister would come to her aid, so she clung to it. She occasionally gets really dark, but she soon gets over it. The years of unrelenting abuse from her adoptive family were the source of her dark side. It was time to see how she was doing. In an attempt to surprise Rin, he hoped that she would be prepared to live out her day's pain, free and be reunited with her sister. Naruto made his way to meet the girl with the purple hair. Knock. After knocking on her room, Naruto said, "Sakura, it's me." Naruto? Click. Come in. Please, she exclaimed joyfully as she opened her door for Naruto to enter her chamber. Sakura took the table opposite Naruto, who sat down at the table. How are you feeling? I'm feeling a lot better now. Good. You've been through a lot, Sakura. You deserve to be happy. Thank you. Today, we will see if how far you came. I know you don't go out a lot, but it's time for you to see what life has to offer, so we're going on a date. The news causes Sakura to gasp. She wasn't opposed to going on a date with the man she fell in love with, but she also wasn't expecting one. Naruto couldn't help but smile as she said, "Okay, let me get changed first." She was behaving appropriately for her Uchiha, a contented schoolgirl going out with a senpai. He couldn't say that for himself because he took on so many responsibilities at such a young age, but it had to do with his life back in the East, where children were groomed and indoctrinated to become child soldiers and ninjas, a practice that is extremely uncommon in the West, where races fight for their children rather than arming them to fight for their homes. I guess old habits die hard, he thought bitterly, because he disliked the idea of children not having the chance to live, which is why he is doing everything he can to give Sakura the happiness that was taken away from her as a child. If he could make even one person, like Sakura, smile, he would continue to endure all the hardships the world has to offer. After the walk, Naruto took Sakura to a nice family-run restaurant for breakfast. The walk was in the morning, so the scenery was stunning, and Sakura enjoyed Naruto's company the entire time, even interacting with the locals who were awake. Overall, the date went well. She enjoyed spending time with Naruto and experiencing a little bit of life. She also appeared to be adjusting to the abrupt change in surroundings. She appeared ready to be released from the cage the Matu had placed her in. Returning to Camelot Castle on foot, "Sakura, are you prepared to meet your sister?" Naruto asked, observing her body trembling in response. "I'm scared. What happens if she rejects me?" With tears in her eyes, she asked him, and Naruto wiped them away before bringing her in for a hug. "That isn't how Rin is. I know she isn't like that because I've spent a lot of time with her. She is bossy, shrewd, loud, stingy, and rude. She's a lot of things, okay," he said, shedding a little perspiration as he realized how many things he could say about Rin. "But she's not cruel. She once told me that failing someone she loves is her greatest regret in life. Even though she didn't mention you, it was obvious that you were on her mind. Although I am aware that she was unable to save you, you ought to allow her the opportunity to fulfill her lifelong dream of becoming an older sister. Just follow my instructions, and I'll show you how much she loves you." He released her, reminding her of the arrangement for her to meet Rin. Feeling brave enough to confront her sister, Sakura began to wipe away her tears. "Thank you," she said, kissing Naruto on the lips and entering the room where she was supposed to wait. Remembering Sakura's soft lips, Naruto muttered, small laugh, "You're definitely Rin's sister, Sakura." Naruto then went to find Rin. Naruto saw a certain green-haired girl with tan skin while looking around the castle for a certain twin tail. Naruto. Sama, 1. When Fa saw him, she yelled with delight. Count the number of times I told you to omit the honorific Fa, did he ask? A great deal. With joy, she replied. Aren't you going to keep going? Anyway, she shook her head. Has Chomei gotten back to you? Did he ask? Fa shook her head and looked sad. No, since they left, I haven't seen her or Kurama. I'm starting to worry. What happens if they leave us? Fa was afraid. Although she might not have received the same treatment as other Jinchuriki, she spent the majority of her life alone, and Chomei was one of the people who supported her consistently in the land of Waterfall. Not at all. Knowing that she had spent the majority of her life alone, Naruto pulled her into an embrace, saying, this is the first time of freedom in their home. Chomei was as important to her as Kurama is to Naruto. Now that they are at home and free, they must be enjoying it. When they're ready, they'll return. Hello. She concurred with his statement and said, happy. Naruto turned to yell at her as he began to leave, saying, have you seen Rin? Yes. She's at the library. She replied, I heard you say something about searching for something. Thank you. After saying, I'll see you later, Naruto left a contented Fa to continue her previous activity and headed towards the library. When Naruto arrived at the library to look for his lover, he discovered Rin going through a number of documents that had been locked up for privacy reasons. He thought, she must be looking for any information on Sakura. I made it hard for anyone to get those documents. He recalled a number of laws he had made as king, one of which was about the privacy of his subjects. Records would be kept of them, but they wouldn't be open to the public. Only high-ranking people could access them, a position that Rin lacked. She must be looking at the Matu file. Didn't know that there is already a personal file for Sakura. Naruto passed her to go through the unlocked cabinet that contained information about magical families and searched through it to see if she took the folder he wrote up on Sakura. He discovered the file in the cabinet. Naruto took several papers out of the file that contained details of her therapy and recovery and pocketed them. Naruto grabbed one of Rin's twin tails and began dragging her out of the room after bringing her the Sakura file, which only contained details about her terrible life with the Matu family. Ow! 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 The hair! Naruto! She screamed in agony at Naruto, who at last released his grip. To her surprise, he told her sharply, Rin, follow me. Is there no way this can wait? I'm busy, she told him as she fixed her hair. Naruto just continued to stare at her. Surprising her that Naruto seemed to be so cold to her. She did flinch a little. What's with the look? Even if he were king, he would always be her dumb fool, she demanded. She refused to move when Naruto told her, we should talk in private. Not until you explain what has happened to you. The words, Sakura Matu, made Rin freeze. What? After a few seconds for her to gather her thoughts, she continued, D. Don't know what you're talking about. The topic of the conversation caused her to stammer, and Naruto simply grabbed her hand and dragged her to the room where Sakura was hiding or waiting. A table with 2 seats, a few doors, and a vent made up the room, which was more akin to an interrogation room. Naruto sat down and pointed to the seat across from Rin, who was now extremely anxious but concealed it. Why? Following the plan, Naruto asked. Playing the ignorant card, she said, I don't know what you're talking about. She didn't want to discuss the topic. After Naruto dropped the file in front of her, she pretended not to care about Sakura Matu, and immediately began reading it, disregarding Naruto's current opinion of her. Allow me to give you a summary. Formerly Sakura Tasaka, now Sakura Matu. She continued to read the file, ignoring Naruto, and said, your younger sister is a little girl who has been through hell. Rin froze. I had to deal with the Matu family because they were one of the few who disobeyed my rule. She was raped, tortured, and mistreated. Naruto said icily, little Sakura was the heir of the Matu family. Rin took up the word, was. Weakly, she said, Don't tell me, she didn't want to think Naruto was making a suggestion. I called because the Matus were a threat. I couldn't let them stay in existence. Bam! Even though she wasn't strong enough to try to choke him, Rin got up from her seat and threw herself at Naruto, choking him until he could only feel her hands around his throat and a few tears on his face. Why? Why? She muttered. She screamed at him. Even if she loves him, she can't help but feel hatred for him now. You killed my sister. I know that I failed her, but I still love her. Naruto needed her to say something about her feelings for her younger sister, but he just kept staring at her without showing any emotion. Father gave her to them, but I never found her again. Despite my best efforts, I was unsuccessful. I'm a failure. She cried out, giving up on trying to choke her lover and failing on top of him while sobbing into his chest. Naruto began to console her, but Rin was too distraught to hear the door open at that moment. Big sister. Rin got up right away, still crying, to see where the voice was coming from, and she saw a lovely girl with violet hair and eyes, who appeared to be crying like herself but was smiling, and she immediately recognized the pink ribbon tied to her hair. Sakura. Rin left him and rushed to embrace Sakura, starting an emotional reunion between the sisters. While Rin cried tears of relief and happiness, she continued to cry tears of joy, thinking, "You're right, Naruto, she does care." He left the two to catch up, knowing that he wasn't needed at this time. By midnight tomorrow, since Rin is a strong woman who doesn't like to open up much, which is why she wore a fake smile in public, Naruto allowed the two sisters to catch up after all those years apart without bothering to watch them. It was a very emotional moment for the two of them, and he also knew that Rin didn't mean to hurt him when he tricked her into revealing her feelings for Sakura. Subterranean of the castle, we find our blonde king, Naruto, standing with a backpack of supplies, Excalibur and Avalon by his side, a dark blue V-neck shirt, a high, collared black leather jacket over it, burgundy jeans with a silver chain drooping down over them, black leather chaps with 3 bands around his right calf, and black shoes with black buckles. "Will you tell me what you're doing, or will I have to make you do it?" Naruto froze as he was about to leave when a woman behind him asked. Naruto turns to see a woman with white hair that reaches her waist and fair skin. Nervously, he gazed at her gray eyes with their many circular patterns and said, Ria, Zetsu." Ria, Zetsu simply waited for his response with a stoic expression. "You caught me," I sighed. "I'm heading out," Naruto declared while donning the backpack. "Why do you want to leave? How much do you know about the West, Ria?" She pondered his question for a moment, wondering where he was taking it. "I am aware of all the other races, magic, and territory," she said. "Why?" "The West encompasses more than that. I am aware that the natural world is home to incredible wildlife. More justifications for racial conflict. Moreover, Do-chi, the physical energy. I rarely hear about this Do-chi that I was told about when I first arrived here. Instead, I only hear about how wonderful magic is and other such things. I can't learn everything I need to know about the West by remaining in this castle. You are now king. Your life would be in danger if you left. Perhaps, but it seems worthwhile to me. If I am unwilling to deal with issues myself, how can I be king? To find out for myself, I must go out there and speak with the leaders of each faction directly. Above all, if I don't understand what it means to be king, how can I be king?" Nobunaga was both a warrior and a rapacious individual. The Demon King has absolute authority. There is a council that governs the cages. Ria, there are numerous ways to rule. To learn how to become the king I desire, I must see them all. She approached him and said, "Sai, you're an idiot." Slap Ria. Zetsu slapped him hard, OWWW. After giving Naruto a moment to recover from the pain, Ria pulled him in for a passionate kiss, which lasted for a minute before he returned the kiss. "Assure me that you will return alive," she spoke to him tenderly. He whispered back, "Of course. I can never leave any of you girls looking like that. I need you to deliver this letter to Arturia." "Ria," Naruto said, reaching into his cloak and handing her a letter as the two released their embrace. "Merlin and Meliodas know what I have in store. According to the letter, Arturia will take over when I'm not there. While I'm away, Merlin and Meliodas will assist her in maintaining order." Ria accepted the letter. "What if we are unable to solve a problem without your help?" After giving it some thought, Naruto swung his thumb over his other palm and bit it, saying, "Jutsu, summoning." "Do you realize it's late, Naruto? You called me so late at night. Why?" Before Naruto called him, a 4-foot white tiger who appeared to be sleeping asked him a question. "I apologize, Felix. I'm in need of your help." "What is it?" The white tiger, Felix, son of the boss summons, Byako, inquired. Since Naruto is in a new world, a new name is required, and a Western name on an Eastern creature hasn't been done until now. Byako let Naruto name Felix when he was a newborn. The tiger and girl were surprised when Ria said, "I need you to accept Ria as a summoner. If someone hasn't passed the test, do you want me to accept them?" His tone was one of disbelief as he asked. "Yes. She is someone I know. She fought hard and lost people. I believe in her," he assured him. "Believe me on this." Ria was still a little stunned. Seeing that his friend was certain of his statement, Felix simply gazed into his eyes and said, "Fine, but you owe me." He then vanished to retrieve the contract scroll. "What just did you do?" she inquired. "I just summoned the legendary white tigers for you. Now that we are the only two summoners, you should be proud." "That wasn't what I meant. You did that, but why?" "I know you deserve it, so I did it. You endured a lot in the east, and despite everything, you followed me to the west. You'll have to put in more effort here because you accomplished all of that on your own. Additionally, this allows us to stay in contact with each other." He winked and said, "Of course, the others don't need to know about this." This made her smile and blush a little. A week later, Naruto traveled throughout the kingdom of Camelot and personally helped the towns in his territory, many of which were dealing with corruption or bandits that persisted after the coup d'état against the previous king. Of course, Naruto couldn't stay in the small villages for very long, and he would find guards and knights from Camelot itself sent to retrieve him on his beloved Arturia's orders. As he walked through the forest that should lead to the outside of his kingdom, Naruto thought, "Man, she must be pissed. I have faith in her to rule in my stead. I have dropped all that responsibly on her all of a sudden." "Your Majesty," a male voice mockingly yelled. After summoning Excalibur, Naruto began searching the area until he looked up at the trees, where he discovered a gruff-looking man of about 20 years old, with blue clothes covered in heavy silver armor, a wolf's head clutching a crescent moon amulet, blue hair in a ponytail, and a red spear that signaled danger to anyone with the ability to sense magic. 1. Ponytail. Who the devil are you? Naruto asked him a question and gave him a nickname, which the man didn't like. "Why in the world did you call me?" Then he leapt from the tree branch and pointed his spear at him, saying, "I heard a lot from you." "Have you heard anything?" He held up Excalibur as he asked. As Naruto looked at the spear, he thought, "That's a fake. Guy Bold. The demonic cursed spear. Created from the demon, Kuruid. The spear that will curse whoever it pierces. Also, the weapon that will always strike the heart. A dangerous weapon. If it's real. The design and power are similar, but not the same. I should know, it's in my treasury. You're the youngest king around, I've heard. In addition, you killed Nobunaga, and above all, you are the once and future king. I wanted to test myself against you," he said with a maniacal smile. "So you think that the legends are true? I will not call myself a believer. I'm the type of man who looks for formidable opponents." He laughed a little and said, "If you think that a fake Guy Bold is enough to beat me, then you vastly underestimated me." The man could only chuckle before turning to face his spear and spinning it around. "You could tell," he said. "Being the man of legends must have its advantages, I suppose. As a thank you for being my teacher, my master, Ska Thatch, made me a replica of her spear. I suppose she was unable to let go of the original, but that doesn't make me any less strong. I still pose a threat to anyone I come into contact with." He assumed his position. "Names, see you chulainn by the way, so how about it?" Additionally, Naruto assumed his stance and said, "I guess that I have no choice." The battlefield was silent as the two stared at each other, waiting for one of them to attack first. Then, in a sudden burst of speed, the spear and sword collided, with Naruto having more strength and power than See You Chulainn. The blue-haired man was very quick and nimble, and he managed to block all of Seiyu's thrusts but was unable to land a hit. This conversation went on for a few minutes as each of them attempted to hit the other hard, but both were unsuccessful. He grinned and remarked, "Looks like there are some truth in the legend." "You're not bad yourself, but I'm getting tired of you dodging my attacks," Naruto said, grinning back. He seems to enjoy the battle, but his speed is getting on his nerves. It's time for me to step it up a notch. See You Chulainn's eyes widened as he saw gold ripples form from Naruto's back, and he immediately unhooked his armor to increase his speed. His instinct told him that the weapons were dangerous. In order to see his full potential, Naruto allowed the man to take off his armor. When the final piece of armor fell, he fired all of the weapons he had prepared. See You naturally dodged them, but Naruto was able to predict where he would dodge because he was firing at him at a certain angle. Naruto charged at the position See You jumped to, and he eventually managed to get a slash at the spearman. The battle lasted for hours, during which See You took a lot of damage and was starting to grow weary. After that, Naruto seemed to heal from everything See You could do to him, and his stamina seemed to have no end. Damn, See You swore to himself, I didn't see that coming. Even with the increased speed, he can counter it with more weapons and with the right strategy. Naruto was affected by the curse inflicted by the spear, too. See You recovered from the attack quickly and managed to land a powerful kick that sent Naruto crashing into a tree. The two then faced each other, and although Naruto easily pressed Cu was able to kick him before charging at him for a thrust with Guy Bold. Whistle. Wow, that's amazing. You are able to dismiss the curse. Even though this spear is a fake, Ska Thatch made a really good fake. Excalibur's sheath is my ultimate defense, Avalon, Naruto said, gesturing to his sheath, adding, I can't take the full credit. Although it offers me protection and incredible healing powers, I already had these powers from birth. Why don't we put a definitive end to this? This only made chulainn smile, and he leapt back. Agreed. He then crouched on all fours and began to run towards Naruto before leaping into the air, arching his back as though making a bow. I have a feeling that you'll be the first to survive my next attack, he said. He was impressed by the amount of power that Cu was accumulating and thought, so this is Guy Bold's full potential. Master, I suggest using Avalon and myself. You can't tank this attack. Excalibur told Naruto. No, I believe that a dragon should face off against the demonic spear. Balance breaker. Vanishing dragon. As he prepared to take on the spear, Naruto appeared in full white dragon armor. Guy Bold. The thing that shocked Cu the most was that Naruto caught the spear with both hands just inches from his heart, even though Cu had thrown the spear at him with the intention of killing him and anyone or anything in between. He had never encountered a dragon before, but he was well aware of how dangerous even the weakest dragons could be, so he thought, damn. That's the rumored dragon power. The power that earns him the Pendragon name. Divide, divide, divide. When Naruto divided the spear's power, it seemed to go on forever. The spear kept charging at him, but Naruto was able to stop it with his own strength. The power of the dragon and the demon clashed, ultimately resulting in a huge explosion that sent both Naruto and Cu flying into numerous trees. Nighttime, gasp. Deep breathing, what the? You're alive. Chulainn was the man who woke up, and when he turned to face the voice, he saw Naruto at the campfire, roasting a deer and already eating the deer. He then turned to face Naruto, who was wrapped in bandages. Avoid sitting there. Naruto pointed to the log he was sitting on and said, you were knocked out all day. Cu paused to consider why he wasn't dead, knowing that he had lost the moment Naruto grabbed the spear. He then gave up, listened to his stomach, and went to the campfire to get a piece of the deer meat. The moment of truth arrived after the man had savored the roasted deer. Why am I alive? It would be better to ask why I should murder you, Naruto retorted. I challenge you to a battle to the death. It doesn't concern me. I noticed your strength. With a smile and cheeks full of deer meat, he said, it would be a shame to kill you when there is so much improvement for a better fight next time. He may not have given his former opponents the same opportunity that he was getting, but he could understand Naruto and was, in a sense, preparing him for battle the next time. Cu could only laugh because he completely agreed with it. I feel like this is going to be a beautiful friendship, he laughed as he spoke. I never really give you an introduction. He offered a fist bump and said, name Naruto Pendragon, King of Camelot. His action made Cu smile, and he gave him a fist bump. Chulainn. The Child of Light is another name for him. I'm called Satanta by my friends, choosing to refer to Naruto as his friend. You son of a bitch, run, go. Naruto yelled at Chulainn, also known as Satanta, his new bodyguard and best friend. Following their altercation, Naruto greeted him warmly as a new friend and vowed to serve him. What the devil do you think I'm in the middle of? Satanta retaliated with a scream. The two were currently fleeing from a herd of magical creatures. Naruto apparently wanted to play with the animals, but ended up with more than he had anticipated. They could have killed them, of course, but their purpose was to see the animals, not to pursue them. There's not much more space left. When Satanta saw the cliff ahead of them, he pointed out. Leap. Naruto yelled at him, and Satanta immediately followed suit. The two swam to land and rested after landing into the lake at the base of the cliff. Grumpily, Satanta told him, I hope you're happy. How was I supposed to know that they will attack us right off the back? He replied. They were territorial beings, I warn you. Strangers are disliked by them, he retorted. Given that he was to blame for this, he muttered, whatever. Perhaps the idea of visiting the animals in the magical beast forest, was not the best one. Although they could kill the magical beasts, it was far too risky to fight them in hordes, so the two fools chose to camp inside the cave behind the waterfall. When nightfall arrived, the two started eating a large, expertly roasted fish. Then I said, Kya. The scream cut off Satanta as she was sharing a story from Naruto's past. The fuck? At night, who's out there? At night, the predators would come out to feed, Satanta asked aloud. As he drew Excalibur to go rescue whoever was screaming outside, Naruto commanded, "Sai, let's go." Satanta merely shrugged before picking up his spear, saying, "Split up." He and Satanta were both general idiots, but they were powered idiots, and unlike the screamer, they could take care of themselves. The two parted ways and searched the forest for the idiot. Eventually, Naruto located the source of the scream, which turned out to be a swarm of blood-sucking demon bats consuming their prey. In the center of the swarm, Naruto noticed a woman with long, pale blue hair, purple eyes, a symbol that appeared to be in the center of her forehead, a blue outfit, and a sword. It appeared that the woman fainted during the bat attack. "Damn it," moaned Naruto, who saw no alternative but to leap straight into the swarm and retrieve her. "Leave this place immediately. Dealing with bats is a pain in the ass." Blood-sucking demon bats were known to remain in groups of hundreds and rarely give up on their prey, so Satanta yelled as he began his jump into the swarm to kill as many bats as he could. His goal was to buy himself enough time to return to the cave with the woman while he kept them busy. "Dude, you had better return to the cave alive." When he felt fewer bats biting him, Naruto yelled and flew to save the woman. After a couple of hours, the bat bites had their own venom, but Avalon had no trouble healing poison at such a weak potency. He only needed to allow Avalon to be close to her. Naruto took the woman back to the cave and healed her. "Satanta is going to need Avalon to help cure himself," he murmured. "I do, you damn right." As he entered the cave, Satanta yelled, "I need a good drink." Naruto saw that he was covered in blood and bites, and he motioned for him to sit next to the unconscious woman. Naruto noticed that he was irritated from fighting all the bats, so he took his fine wine out of his gate. He laughed as Satanta took the bottle and began to chug it before calling forth golden goblets to drink from. "Are you familiar with this woman? How the fuck did she get beaten by such weak magical creatures?" Satanta asked, her eyes widening after a minute. "You must know her, right? I am aware of her. Yun Yun, too, is her name. She is the Yunlan sect's leader. How in the hell can a Do Emperor lose to bats is what irritates me the most." "Do? Like Do Chi? The whole of life's physical energy?" Satanta nodded. Naruto researched Do Chi, primarily because he was able to use a small amount of it through chakra. Unlike magic and chakra, Do Chi fighters have ranks, with 10 levels per rank and 12 levels, practitioner to god. While magic is easier to use and learn to fight, Do Chi requires a strong spirit and complete physical energy, while Do Chi requires a strong soul to prevent the practitioner from dying from the overwhelming change of the body. In the West, people who practice Do Chi are more feared than magicians. Sure, magicians can do unthinkable things, but a Do King can easily defeat an army, but a Do Emperor can defeat 2 Do Kings. Their immense power was well known and feared, and it was dangerous to challenge people who practiced Do Chi because only the best magicians could compete with a Do King or Emperor. However, since the construction of the wall, no single practitioner of Do Chi has ever been able to destroy entire nations in a single day. Today, magicians still possess such power, but only 10 magicians are capable of such feats. Satanta was surprised when she said, "I never heard of the Yunlan sect." "Really, officially, they are the most powerful Do Chi sect," Satanta informed him. "They're based in the J-Ma Empire." Naruto's eyes widened before he grew weary, even though he knew that, in theory, they were the strongest. Of course they would be based in the middle of the hot zone. Naruto knew a great deal of the West. Deeper into the country, it was a complete war zone. It's technically where the endless war started thousands of years ago. The place that the sage of the Sixth Path feared and created the wall to keep all those monsters away from his people. The man that preached peace would allow war to go on because he couldn't understand it due to the war started before his own mother birth. It was too terrifying for the half-human half-alien to handle. The J-Ma Empire was the second biggest human country, second to Naruto's Camelot, but they had more veteran warriors for humanity. Camelot was able to stand the strongest because they had quality over quantity. Sure, the Empire had a lot of strong people their own, but in comparison with someone like Merlin, Ban, himself, or the now deceased Nobunaga, these people could fight entire countries single-handedly, but they never venture out of their own country without any real purpose unless it's to protect. "What are your plans for her? This could be the first test as king," Satanta said gravely. As king, Naruto had to prioritize his nation and eliminate those who would oppose him. Therefore, killing Yun Yun would weaken the Yunlan sect and allow J-Ma Empire to fall apart due to the constant war without powerful individuals fighting for them. He could also force her into his own country and force her to fight for him. Although he is a magician, he only focuses on runes and spells that will help him use the lance. He could help her or use a spell to erase her memory. Having known Naruto long enough to know that he will help those he believes need it, Satanta thought, knowing Naruto, he would help her and help the Jama Empire to achieve peace through love and understanding. He likely did this because of his charisma and kind heart. I'll give her some time to relax, she will be awake by tomorrow. Right. The two get to work for the evening. The two simply unwind outside the cave fishing in the morning. Naruto complains, I will never understand how fishing is fun. Satanta merely laughs him off. It requires a lot of patience and is peaceful. He remarked, someone as hyperactive as you will never enjoy the beauty of fishing. It was one of his favorite pastimes. Then the two heard a splash, and it was Yun Yun, who didn't look happy but also didn't look angry either. She stared at the two with an expression of indifference. Looky looky. The princess has woken up. Naruto began to sense a tug on his pole and said, hey there sleeping beauty. Oh, another one is on the way. With excitement, he said. What the fuck? The seventh one is that one. You also despise fishing. Satanta became enraged, thinking, how the hell can he say it's boring and then get so excited when he gets a fish? Hell. How the hell is he getting all the fish? He didn't like Naruto's luck, which, in his view, took away the purpose of fishing. Who are you? Naruto didn't flinch when Yun Yun pointed her sword at his neck and demanded, but Satanta quickly withdrew Gai Bolg and held it behind her back, ready to pierce her. Now. Let's all put our weapons down, he said courteously, but Yun Yun refused until she received her response. When he realized she wasn't going to back down, Naruto released his hold on his power, causing everyone in the vicinity to feel his raw power. Yun Yun trembled briefly before gathering herself. She thought, you're the leader of the Yunlan sect. You can't show fear. Sensing his strength, she knew she couldn't defeat him, but she had to protect her reputation, so she lowered her weapon. Satanta then lowered his, but he watched her closely because he had vowed to serve and protect Naruto. Let's all unwind now and savor a delicious roast fish. Well, fishes, he said, pointing to every fish he and Satanta had captured, before she could protest. Grumble grumble, her face lit up like Christmas lights, and then she began nodding in agreement, indicating that she was hungry. The three of them savor the roasted fish. To start the conversation, Naruto said, now. Would you mind explaining to me why a group of feeble bats attacked the lovely Yun Yun? She blushed as she recalled what had happened the previous evening, and Naruto's question made her blush because most men lacked the guts to call her beautiful in such a way that insulted her strength. What was that? Did Satanta ask? Will you speak up? Satanta grinned broadly, knowing it would be humorous. Bats terrify me. The sight of bats will knock her out, and that's what happened last night. If the two hadn't saved her, she might have died from the poison or the constant blood-sucking. She screamed out, no longer able to mumble it. To give the two time to process what has happened to her, a few moments earlier. Ha 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 ha. They both laugh aloud while rolling on the ground and clutching their stomachs. Yun Yun rarely acted ladylike, more like a girl, an embarrassed girl, so she reacted the only way her instinct would tell her to because they now knew her weakness and saw her in this way, which made her very angry and embarrassed. Bam bam. OWWE. She just huffed in embarrassment and rage, while Satanta and Naruto both screamed in agony from the blow to the head. After rolling around on the ground in agony for a few minutes. So, why have you come here? Satanta persisted in her inquiry. I never got your names from you. It appears that she was going to be with these two for some time, so she should at least know their names. You two know me, but I don't know either of you, she said. Oh, I apologize. See you, chulainn. The light child? She asked, utterly taken by surprise, and he nodded. She had heard of him, and the Child of Light was a powerful mage and lance wielder, whose runes and innate connection to nature made him a formidable warrior. She then turned to Naruto. Naruto Pendragon, Sai. Camelot's king. Naruto told her, the once and future king. He had had enough of the town's foolishness and was now just a king. Like everyone else, she had heard the legends, but she dismissed Naruto's story as rumors. However, news of Camelot change brought his name to her attention, and she became afraid of him because he was something that threatened her home and defeated a man named Nobunaga, who had allowed her to live because she was beautiful. She turned to Satanta for confirmation, but he nodded, which was unfortunate for her. What has brought you to the magical beast forest? I asked. Using his kingly tone, he inquired. There is a magical beast waking up soon, she answered unconsciously, feeling that if she lied, he would find out and punish her. I have to kill it. I'll be stronger because of its strength and bone. Why? The thought of lying to the man in front of her still makes her frightened. I need to protect my home. He looked at Satanta to send him a message after a minute of contemplation, nodded, and proceeded to retrieve the supplies in the cave. Satanta was aware that Naruto could easily take what she was looking for, but he wasn't the one to do something so heinous. Using his kingly tone, he said, "One last question." Then he smiled softly and extended his hand to her, asking if she would accept my assistance. He politely inquired. His tone was too real to be faked, and that smile just made her happy, really happy. She was in complete shock, seeing only his deep blue eyes and the hand he was offering to help her. Helping her home, helping his enemy, what was his game? She wondered, but was unable to continue thinking along those lines. The Tager Desert, Satanta stated succinctly, "It's hot." Frustrated, Naruto yelled, "God fucking damn it. That's it," and began beating his friend. You can see fists and kicks emerging from the bubble cloud as the two entered a large ball of violence. Satanta collapsed in defeat as Naruto emerged victorious. After assisting Yun Yun in her quest to defeat a formidable magical beast, the two were now in the Tager Desert. She informed them about her home and other nations in the hot zone, war zone, after killing the monster and letting herself absorb his power. Naruto was intrigued by her mention of the Tager Desert because of the locals. The Snakemen tribe was the adversary of the Ja-Ma Empire. They are a formidable race with formidable Dochi warriors. The Snakemen are human, but they have snake-like legs. Their bodies are superior to those of angels, devils, and humans. Ghouls and demons are the only races thought to have superior bodies, but they hardly ever leave their own territory unless they are advancing on a major conflict. Naruto's Kusanagi from killing Nobunaga made him want to visit that place. They were the original owners of the sword, and Naruto wants to give it back. Having two is unnecessary because he already had one in his treasury, but his treasury is unnecessary. Satanta was informed by Excalibur, "Stop complaining, we're almost there." He only complained a few times about the unbearable heat in Naruto's obnoxious chivalry, which he held dear to his beloved Arturia. At last, the two traveled to the Snakemen tribe's capital to return the sword and ask for a meeting with their queen. Satanta said that it was a bad idea because the Snakemen might attack them. Naruto was indifferent to the repercussions of his decision. For him, doing the right thing was all that mattered. A rather large, muscular, purple snake man yelled at the two, "Scram humans!" as he struck them with a Dochi wave technique. Naruto was standing in front of the path when Satanta leapt out of the way, allowing it to strike him. Without shifting or recoiling, Naruto maintained his position. "That's exactly how I felt. Even though it wasn't much, that was something." When he is on his guard, he typically doesn't feel any pain unless there is a strong magical attack. He had never used Dochi before, and he was not let down. It really was strong. Satanta raises his spear and returns to his king's side. All set for battle, he responded on Naruto's behalf, saying, "We come here for an audience with your king." The purple snake man yelled at Satanta, "You think a lowly human is worthy of seeing our queen, scum?" He angrily yelled, "Don't disrespect my king," at the snake man for treating Naruto disrespectfully. Then he pointed to Naruto. "This is the once and future king. He has every right to meet with whoever he desires." He looked at Naruto and said, "Scoff. The once and future king. Chuckle. Don't make me laugh. That's only a legend. This man is only a fake." His appearance did not impress me in the least. A stunning tan snake woman with blonde hair rushed down to the other snake man before the situation could get out of hand. "Those wings. They are a demonstration of power, but not as cool as my divine dividing." The newcomer caught Naruto's attention. A Do King's power. The purple snake man, Mo Ba-Si, was informed by the snake woman, "Mo Ba-Si, we have trouble." Mo yelled at the snake woman, "You may, who's attacking, you may." As the two glared at our two misfits, she said ominously, "Humans." With a facepalm, Naruto whispered to Satanta, "Don't say it." He was aware of what would occur. "I told you so," he exclaimed triumphantly, grinning broadly. He yelled angrily, "Scum!" and threw a strong wave at the two. They leap out of the way this time. As he and Satanta leapt back, Naruto yelled at the two, "Wow. Calm down. We're not here to fight. We just came to see the queen." Yu-Mei yelled at him, "That's what the group of humans said before they attacked me." Satanta retorted, "Hey, we came here alone. I don't know who the hell you're talking about, lady." Mo thrust them with a strong Dochi fist, saying, "Shut up, human scum." Instead, it struck a teal magical beast dragon, one, that landed in front of Naruto and Satanta instead of them. 4 people were standing behind the 2 mage once the blast smoke had cleared. A strong, blond man who appeared to live in the wild and trained to be the strongest person there was. Another man, but this one had blue eyes, white hair, and glasses. Compared to his blonde friend, he appears more refined and professional. An elderly man with a long, white beard follows. Although he is not from the East, he appears to be a traditional elder of someone from the East, too. And lastly, a female. Naruto recognized her right away, even if her face and body were covered by a cloak. The 4 people were all Do-Chi users and fighters. 3. Who the hell are you guys? That was Naruto's direct question. Satanta prepared his guy bold, constantly changing positions to battle the Snakemen tribe or the new group of humans. The man with the wild look moved forward. Who the hell are you? You have no business here. Satanta stepped forward to confront him because she didn't like his attitude. He then began to use a lot of mana and kill Guy Bold, saying, "Don't get a big head, Do-Chi user." Having the tip release magical energy in the form of red blood. I have slain many of your kind already. Don't disrespect my king or I'll take your head. The white-haired man moves forward to soothe his companion when he realizes that a fight is about to break out. Everyone, please calm down. We are not here to provoke matters, but rather, we have a request towards your noble queen, he stated. Naruto made the decision to speak up. Get in line, buddy. I'm here to talk to the queen. Besides, from what I can gather, you and your group attack a member of the Snakemen tribe. If you're truly here to talk, then stand down, he said. In mid-sentence, Naruto's tone changed. He was conversing with people more casually the whole time. He's back to his kingly tone now. He said courteously, "Who may you be?" Like the others, Naruto's tone took him by surprise. Although his attire suggested that he was his tone conveyed a sense of power and royalty. Well, a delinquent or a bum. It sounds a little irritated by this man's attitude when he says, "It's rude not to introduce yourself to this king." He bowed and said, "My apologies, your majesty." Accepting him at face value as king. He was persuaded by his aura and tone alone. I'm Gyuhi, more commonly known as the Pill King within the Jama Empire. I'm also affiliated with the Yunlan sect. Since the Yunlan sect's presence is sufficient to link the dots of their identities, Naruto reasoned, so that is Yun. He then turns to face the hooded woman, who recoils a little from his stare. She noticed that he was merely grinning at her. The Pill King. Yes, exactly. Pills. Medical pills that boost strength, make poison, treat illnesses, prolong life, and much more can be made with Do-Chi. Something my mother would definitely enjoy. Regretfully, neither she nor anyone else in my kingdom is capable of using Do-Chi. I'm Naruto Pendragon, the once and future king and the king of Camelot, he said. The other male humans were taken by surprise. Mo merely scoffs at his declaration once more, but you may also look surprised. Tell me, why do you harm those that you only want to speak to? Gu examined him to check for signs of deception, but he found none. He also heard about the rumored once and future king finally making an appearance in Camelot, but in the never-ending war, people like to tell stories to give hope. He's either really good at lying or is telling the truth. Naruto might serve as a morale-boosting tale for Camelot. I seek out to speak to the queen. I need something that she is in possession in. Yu Mei yelled at him, like the queen would give you the essence flame. Flame of essence. Flames fueled by the world's essence. Naruto recalled reading about it in the archive and thought, a very powerful fire that no other fire can disobey. Naruto drew Excalibur and said, even if you desire the essence flame, you had no right to attack anyone. It emitted a dazzling gleam that momentarily blinded everyone but Satanta. As a king and a knight, I can't allow such crimes go unpunished. The crazy man lunged directly at Naruto. I had enough of you, he said, preparing a strong blow. He launched his attack a few steps away from Naruto and headed in his direction, but a blue-haired man brandishing a red spear stopped it. Satanta rushed at him and said, I had enough of you as well, all set to battle. In preparation for battle, Naruto lifted his blade. The woman, Yun, then lunged at him brandishing her own sword, causing the two blades to lock together. Sorry Yun, but I can't allow what you and your group done. She just gritted her teeth as she started to fall behind. She was only a Do king at the time, despite having lost the battle against Nobunaga. She is currently a Do emperor, but it appears that her strength hasn't changed because Naruto is defeating her. Why? The Snakemen tribe are a cruel race. They deserve no better treatment. The old man caught her after Naruto defeated her in the battle and sent her back. True, but my honor refused to let you harm the Snakemen tribe. Do to others as you would have them do to you. Luke 6:31, the Bible. I will treat anyone as I wish to be treated, no matter of their past crimes. There is still hope for a better future and I won't allow emotions to cloud that future. Naruto lunges at the two. The snake men who were observing were taken aback by Naruto's biblical quotation. They will not submit to the weak. They only respect the strong. Because Naruto wasn't here to treat them badly or disrespectfully like others had in the past, some people started to respect him. A strong energy source came from the village palace prior to Naruto's confrontation with the elderly man and Yun Yun. Shocking everyone. A big purple snake swam into the air, followed by a purple gleaming light. When he realized what was happening, he began to panic. He then notices what looks to be a blue lotus in the purple snake. And he exclaims, "This is bad. The queen is beginning her evolution. That's the essence." Then he began to run for it. Yu Mei yelled at he, "Don't even try to disturb the queen's evolution." She lunged at him, ready to strike. The old man attacked Naruto just as he was ready to step in. "I'm sorry, your majesty, but we need the essence flame." Allowing Yun Yun to fly in Yu Mei's direction and prevent her from attacking he. Everyone engaged in a quick conflict with each other. An energy barrier stopped he as soon as he arrived at the queen's palace. His frustration at not receiving the essence flame grew. Naruto sensed something was wrong with the queen and muttered, "Something is wrong." Naruto didn't know what was happening at this unique moment, but his gut told him that something wasn't right. When the enormous snake started attacking everyone, it was then shown to be correct, sending away anyone nearby. "The queen!" Mo exclaimed in fear as numerous other snake men joined in. There was a problem with their leader. As everyone started to run away, Naruto moved forward toward the devastation. Naruto informed Mo, "The power is consuming her." He pleaded almost imploringly, "Human, is there something you can do to save our queen?" As he, Yu Mei, and other snake men started to leave the area, he nodded and said, "I have something. Just get everyone to safety." He yelled, "Satanta!" to his friend, who prevailed in combat. Fortunately, the wildly man was spared. "Hold the line," he nodded. Dragon vanishing. Breaker of balance. Naruto changes into the scale male of Albion, attracting the attention of those who haven't seen it yet. It gives people hope that the village can be saved. Naruto. A fragment of Albion's soul addressed Naruto. Her power is going out of control. She is being consumed by the essence flame. She will soon die from it. I know. I need to contain all the excess power. Think you can handle the power of a snake and fire? I'm a dragon. Nothing is too much for me to manage. The barrier defending the queen was easily breached by Naruto. He started dividing the queen's power as soon as he touched her. The evolution process is made easier without the overwhelming power. Yun Yun whispered in amazement, "That's his power." Naruto only used a sword to demonstrate his strength while they were in the magical beast forest. There was more to this. The big snake soon started to fade away as the lights dimmed. Naruto returned by air to the group of people there, where it seemed that the other snakemen leaders were waiting for him. A young redhead woman was brought back to them by Naruto. After he dispelled his armor and landed, he questioned, "Is this your queen?" Because she was so young, I wasn't sure if she was it. Despite being the youngest king, Naruto's situation was distinct. Instead of being a cute, flirtatious teen, the queen was supposed to be a mature, attractive woman. Unknown location. A dark voice said, "Do you understand the mission?" The voice handed the unknown a picture of Naruto Pendragon. A slash appeared on the image, and the unknown person's only word was, "Eliminate." You will eliminate Pendragon when our operative begins his attack. Understood. The capital of the Ja-Ma Empire is Holy Ja-Ma City. Satanta yelled at Naruto, "I told ya it was a bad idea," striking him across the face. Naruto brought out the Kusanagi and gave it back to the snakemen after returning the queen. They were not pleased to have human strangers on their territory, but since they had saved their queen, they were permitted to do so. Then Yun Yun became the issue. She and the Ja-Ma Empire's citizens. They wanted revenge after their attack, but Naruto wouldn't have it. He warned them once that Yun Yun would become their enemy if they attacked him. Naruto was mistaken to believe that would work. They assault Yun Yun, Satanta, and him. After a few hours of chasing, Naruto managed to fly the three of them out of the Tager Desert, but not before grabbing them both by the back of their collars and yelling, "Book it!" The two were about to fight to the death. Yun Yun offered them safety within the Ja-Ma Empire and expressed gratitude for their help. to allow them time to recuperate and consider their next course of action. Naruto stood up after his friend punched him. Although they are now in the capital, Satanta opposed the idea of letting Naruto enter the empire. He yelled at the blonde, "This is literally the heart of enemy territory. How stupid can you get? I mean, traveling is one thing, but traveling into enemy territory, much less their capital. They will kill you." He said something unusual. He takes his duty seriously, but he is generally a laid-back guy who likes a good fight. When the fool leapt headfirst into danger, he was struggling to fulfill his vow to serve and protect Naruto. Although it was initially enjoyable, Naruto was willing to risk his life for the most ridiculous reasons. Naruto attempted to reassure him, saying, Ma, Yun Yun promises safety here." Naruto walks to the window of the hotel where Yun Yun had them stay, saying, "Besides, this place is beautiful. I never seen anything like this back in Camelot." To see the floating island above the city, Naruto opened it. The Yunlan sect, the strongest sect or guild if you're not from the area, is based on the island. Satanta told him gravely, "I'm going to say this right now. They will try to kill you. At the very least, capture you." He assured the blue-haired mage, "We'll be fine." After that, he seized Excalibur and held her around his waist. "I'm heading out to investigate. Avoid waiting up." Satanta rushed to the window to stop him, but he had already vanished into the crowd when he leapt out of it. He complained, "He's such a pain in the ass." The Holy Jama city's streets. The city was a wonder, with bustling streets and gorgeous white buildings everywhere in immaculate condition. Then there was that floating island in the middle of the town, which Yun Yun informed him was the Yunlan sect's home. Despite the fact that the nation is officially at war with everyone around them, everything seems so tranquil. It's amazing that they managed to maintain such a pleasant environment during a conflict. Nothing compares to this place, not even Camelot. It's no wonder they refer to it as the Holy Jama City, Naruto said, whistling. "It came at the cost of many to keep our capital and cities safe like this." When Naruto turned around, he saw Yun Yun, the stunning white-haired woman, smiling as she approached. With a look that demanded an answer, she told him, "I came over to your hotel room earlier, only to find your bodyguard sleeping." Not as scared of him as she had been in the past, she thought, "It's like there are two people. The kind carefree idiot Naruto that has a welcoming aura, and there is the King Naruto that terrified me to the core from his sheer power alone. I wanted to see the city and Satanta said we shouldn't have come here." Naruto replied, placing his hands behind his head. "He would be sensible. Technically, you are the head of an adversary country," she said. She followed him as he began to leave to explore the city, saying, "True, but whoever said I was a good leader? Tell me, as one leader to another." She focused entirely on him, asking what it meant to be a leader. After giving it some thought, I came to the conclusion that a leader is the one who leads the people around them. It's their responsibility to make sure they thrive while in their care. Naruto snorted at her answer, slightly infuriating her. "What do you think is wrong with my view of leadership?" Naruto said, "By definition, that is what a leader is, but is that the true meaning of being a leader?" He then pointed to the alley, and Yun Yun looked in shock at what she saw. If being a leader means to ensure those that follow them to prosper, then why are there children living in the streets? He asked her because there were 7-year-old children in the alley, all dressed in filthy clothes, and they were clearly starving because they were digging in the trash can. The moment she moved to assist the kids, they all saw her and fled. Hold on. She wanted to help them, but she couldn't figure out why they were scared of her, so she tried to stop them. I suppose this is the real cause of the city's remarkable condition given that the Jama Empire is surrounded by armies. He approached the stunned Yun Yun and escorted her back to a park bench nearby, saying, "Before I became king, I found the exact thing in Camelot. The rich prosper, while the poor suffer. I've known since I can remember that the world is a harsh place. While the weak suffer and perish, the strong endure and thrive. Because I refused to accept that, I grew stronger. One of the most fundamental laws of life is survival of the fittest, and I disagree with this idea. So what exactly does it mean to be a leader? As the leader of the Yunlan sect and the sword and shield of the Jama Empire, she asked in a low voice, knowing that Naruto was correct. She believed that everyone would be safe, but in fact, the people she shielded from pain were still in pain. Her parents were killed in one of the thousands of skirmishes that plagued the Jama Empire by their enemy when she was a child, and she felt helpless because she couldn't do anything to save them. She trained hard enough to become an apprentice of Yun Shan, the former leader of the Yunlan sect and current elder of the secta, because she didn't want anyone to suffer like she did, and she thought she had succeeded, but seeing homeless children earlier broke her heart. Yes, The empire is safer than before, but the people are still suffering. She was simply unaware of this and thought the empire only needed someone to protect it. A leader, in my opinion, is someone who knows their people. I was not a good king, which is why I left the administration of my kingdom to others. I promised to bring peace not only to Camelot but to the entire land, she said, looking up at him. I don't understand my people and my enemies. Unbelievably, I also regard these individuals as my citizens. Like everyone else, they require assistance. I left because I need to learn more about the endless war in order to be a good king who looks out for them. In order to be a proper king who can understand them and provide them with a reason to follow me, I travel the land to gain an understanding of them. I left others to hold my place until I'm ready because I'm not ready to be king yet, he said passionately. He inspired her, and she started to understand him, feeling as though she would follow him. She then looked into his eyes, which warmed her so much that she lost herself in them. Are you okay, Yun Yun? I'm in a relationship with Arturia, but she's giving him a harem, so he's not a fool, Naruto said, observing her turn around in agitation. He saw Yun Yun as a friend and didn't hurt her in any way, either physically or emotionally, preferring to wait and see how their relationship developed. This is an invitation for the upcoming Receptoria's competition that the Empire holds to promote peace with other nations, she said, turning around after taking a moment to gather herself. You expressed interest in learning more about Dochi to me. For mages, being a receptarier is the same as being an alchemist. Given that I practice Dochi and think a receptarier is better than an alchemist, this is a little biased. I look forward to it, he said, smiling as he accepted the invitation. As the sun shone behind him, she returned his radiant smile and said, Thanks, Yun Yun. Time. Skipping competition for receptariers. When Naruto and Satanta arrived at the competition, they were seated next to Yun Yun. Naruto. Yun Yun said, It's good that you could make it. She pointed to the girl, who was only 4 years old, and had long pink hair, hazel eyes, and a white, slender body. This is my apprentice and the next head of the Yunlan sect, Nalan Yan Ran. With a bow of respect, she said, It's an honor to meet you, Your Majesty. Naruto looked at her closely, which made Yan Ran uneasy. It seems that your mind isn't entirely focused to today's event, young one. He said wisely, surprising Yun Yun and making Satanta smirk. He knew that Naruto was truly worthy of being a king, but he chose to be a kid and have fun, just like himself. It was no surprise that they got along so well. If you listened to their banter, you could tell they were brothers. Yan Ran looked down, clearly sad and thinking about something else, and Yun Yun came over to console her. Her grandfather. Yun Yun said, Her grandfather is infected with branded poison. That statement shocked the two girls in the booth. Without an essence flame, it is impossible to cure this deadly poison. Yan Ran began to cry because she couldn't bear to lose her grandfather, and his condition had gotten worse recently. Then he turned to face Naruto and said, Besides, I'm sure that, my king is more than willing to help. To the surprise of both, Satanta told her, Don't cry, little lady. There is always hope, just don't give up on it. A few people knew that Naruto was king of Camelot, and Yun Yun made sure to let them know that he was her personal guest while here. After closing his eyes and considering the circumstances, Naruto asked his sheath, Avalon, is it possible for you to cure something as possible as the branded poison? The two women, who were unaware of the sentient sheath and blade, were even more shocked when Avalon began to glow. Are you asking a serious question? I can stop you or anyone I want from aging or regenerate any lost limbs or even a destroyed heart, she said, sounding insulted. Give the girl hope. The only issue is the branded poison itself. A simple poison is nothing to me. The poison drains the individual's do-chi. He'll be frail. A body that is weak and in need of rest or one that is shutting down entirely could be the cause. Depending on the individual's strength and level of resistance to the poison, it will vary. With desperate eyes, Yan Ran clutches Naruto's shirt and exclaims, Can you save my grandpa? Is it possible for you to save him? I'll save your grandfather, Naruto said, bending down to give her a hug. That's a promise. As he comforted her with a hug, she began to cry happy tears into his shirt. It was so touching that Yun Yun wanted to ask a question but couldn't bring herself to ruin the moment. After letting the young girl speak, Yun Yun had to explain that they couldn't leave the competition because they had to represent their home as the little leader and the leader of the Yunlan sect. She understood, but not very well. While Yan Ran, who was good with kids, was occupied by Satanta, Naruto and Yun Yun went over to the ledge to observe all the competitors assembling. I must admit that Yan Ran's grandfather, Na Lanjia, was one of the best generals in the Jama Empire. Would you actually treat a general who is an enemy? Naruto replied, I would. I made a promise and I intend to keep it. Why? She understood that he was a good man who wanted to help, but she found it hard to comprehend why he would purposefully heal the man who had killed so many people in the West for his own dwelling. Easy. Hatred. She looked up to him and said, I'm tired of it. He had a determined appearance that she had never seen before. Anyone could hate. It's very simple and alluring, but it accomplishes nothing. All it does is spread pain. Hatred takes over your life and destroys you. If even one person can assist, be kind and keep going. There is much that can be accomplished. Hatred is the foundation of this never-ending conflict. Nobody is prepared to assist one another. Demonstrate that the world is not overrun by evil. Prove that there is still hope for a better future. I want to help because of this. A small act of generosity can make a big difference. After giving it some thought, she came to the conclusion that she absolutely agrees with it. But, have you ever hated anyone? Yun Yun briefly noticed that, rather than the heterochromia of red and blue, both of his eyes were red. Yes. Definitely. I detested my parents. I detested the location of my birth. When she started to say, how could you speak of kindness and forgiveness? Naruto interrupted. I never mentioned forgiving others. Go ahead, I said. It takes a great deal of effort to earn forgiveness. You can't just give it. I can't forgive my birthplace or my parents. No matter how much I despise them, I refuse to let that hatred rule my actions. I'll say things like, I don't like them, I hate them, and they can rot in hell. However, I refuse to let that hatred prevent me from acting morally. Even though I will never be able to forgive them, I will still assist. What does moving forward mean to you? She didn't get his meaning, so she chose to move on rather than extend forgiveness. As I mentioned, forgiveness. It's earned rather than given. When I say, move forward, I mean that we all go together toward a better future. For the sake of, he said, pointing to his rear. As Yan Ran played with Satanta, her mood improved. Yun Yun concluded, the children. Yes. Our future lies with them. They will experience our own suffering if we bring them up in a world of only suffering and with such hatred. Thinking about the future, her own future in particular, made her blush a little. I may not have any children, but I plan on having them. If we all work together, our children won't need to hate each other. Since there won't be a need for forgiveness, they won't have to. A better future in which we can all live in harmony. They will collaborate much more effectively than our generation and live happy lives as well. After that, they would guide the next generation into an even more promising future, and so forth. A never-ending cycle of love and happiness for one another. A period of genuine peace. Exactly. I want to initiate that cycle, but I can't do it by myself. Everyone must be on this. Because we are unable to look past our own hatred, none of us can bring about the peace and happiness that we all desire for the next generation. No matter how many people say it's not possible, I don't care. I'll persuade everyone to glance over the hill and take in the stunning sunrise I see. Yun Yun was taken aback by his speech. She didn't think Naruto would acknowledge his own hatred when he talked about kindness to others, but she could see the true wisdom of the king of Camelot, a just and fair king who is willing to help but also not afraid to stand up for what he believes in and will do everything in his power to ensure the future. His idea of kindness and peace drew her in, and she couldn't help but wish that the next generation would be pain-free, but that was a foolish wish. Maybe, just maybe, he can do it. They memorized Naruto, and the Receptarier was even more amazing than the alchemist. The competition reminded Naruto of the Chunin exam, except for the killing skills. It was a step in the right direction, but Naruto could see that it was done horribly. The competitors were from other countries, but the audience was made up entirely of Jama citizens. The competition was more of a show of power, just like the Chunin exam. He had hoped that this would be a contest to promote friendship and peace, rather than a dick-measing contest. Jama's own competitor and a competitor from the Santaran Empire, two, faced off in the final round. The Santaran Empire's Receptarier was a cocky male with orange hair and a blue diamond tattoo on his forehead. His opponent was Ji Yu-hee, a student of the Pill King, who Naruto stopped from stealing the essence flame from the teenage Queen Medusa. What he was stealing? The Snake Man tribe initially took it, and he intended to take it while his guards engaged in combat. Before an explosion broke out throughout the stands, the match was proceeding smoothly. What on earth is happening? As Yun Yun demanded, she noticed smoke beginning to rise from the crowd and spread throughout the city. Poison smoke. Keep your breath away. Master Fa Ma. 3. The Receptarier Guild's leader, yelled. You're a jerk. Realizing that he was the one behind the poisoning attack on his capital, Jia Xing Tian. 4. A member of the royal family and a Dou emperor, charges at the Santaran representative. Naruto. Yun Yun, Satanta yelled, and Naruto turned to see a girl in a white and red outfit, with long black hair and red eyes, charging at him with a long katana with a red handle. The obvious assassin said, "Eliminate." Yun Yun had already drawn her sword and stopped Naruto before he could draw Excalibur. "I'll take care of you, killer." Yun Yun pushed her back with ease. "Deal with her, Yun Yun. She's probably involved in this. Go get everyone to safety, Satanta." Before any of them could object. Now, the two nodded and did as he said, with Satanta grabbing Yan Ran and bringing her to safety first while Yun Yun chased the assassin as she fled, missing her only opportunity. "Avalon, can you heal everyone in the city?" Naruto said, raising his divine dividing wings and taking to the sky, he asked hastily. Avalon tells her boss, "I can, but I need a lot of power." Naruto began rerouting all of the prana in his entire magic circuits through Avalon, saying, "Okay, get ready." As Avalon formed a golden sphere that swiftly expanded until it covered the entire city, healing everyone, Naruto screamed. The entire world was able to sense the immense amount of magic. Everyone sensed Naruto's power, and they all knew that someone very powerful was out there. Some people were afraid of that power, while others appeared to be happy about it. A few days later, following his successful healing of the entire city and the saving of countless lives, Naruto passed out. His healing sphere even reached Na Lan estate. Na Lan Jia, who was fully recovered, saw the chaos in the city and hurried to help. Without knowing anything about Naruto, he followed his instincts and saved him, bringing him to his home before returning to help fight the attack and gather the troops to secure the city. Everyone was shocked to see their hero up and moving about. The Jia Ma Empire eventually dealt with the attack, which was only a poison attack on the city. The Santaran Empire had planned to poison as many people as possible in order to weaken the empire, so they sent their receptator on a suicide mission. The only other person they sent was the black-haired girl who was trying to kill Naruto, but she managed to escape. Because of Naruto, the only person killed was the Poison Master Receptator. The real issue was restoring order after the mass panic. After Naruto saved everyone, Satanta stood by him, protecting him, and the old general was naturally appreciative of the young king for both saving his life and defending his people. After calming things down, Naruto eventually spoke with the Jia Ma Emperor and a few other important figures. After expressing gratitude, they offered the kingdom of Camelot an alliance, saying that since their king was willing to defend their home, they would be a great ally. Naruto gladly accepted, which made everyone in the room happy, including old man Na Lan, who gave him hearty pats on the back. Despite all the years of suffering from the branded poison, he fought every second and kept most of his power. Ruar. To find out what was happening, Naruto and the other warriors hurried outside the chambers. But all they could make out in the distance was a big, black object. Na Lan Jia muttered in desperation, "No. But. He's coming here, but why?" Yun Yun yelled in utter terror. Everyone else fell to their knees and started sobbing and talking about how hopeless things were. Satanta. What on earth is happening? When Naruto demanded, he saw his friend trembling in terror, something he had never seen before yet, but this was different. It's Acnologia. Many yelled in sheer fear. He had no idea who Acnologia was. But Naruto sensed a huge black dragon with blue patterns on its body coming toward the city. The dragon's magical power was far greater than his own, and he felt dread and fear in the back of his mind. For the first time in his life, he felt all of his hope leave his body, no matter how hard he tried to hold on to it. Roar.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.